fact that the champions over in Paris, we might potentially see a rematch of last year's Game of the Future 2025, which was between Onyx and Aurora Gaming, which we'll watch an where Onyx won that in a sweep. So we did hear through the interviews, of course, there towards the end that they wanted to go for a rematch. Well, it starts with this. Again, can Selangor Red Giants, can the Giants for Onyx? Because I think if you look at yesterday's matches, if you guys didn't get to tune into them, they both had pretty dominant sweeps. I mean, SRG and Onyx both had, I think, 10-minute games or so around there in their matchups. SRG played at Foot Esports, Onyx played against DFYG, and so this is a very strong showing for them yesterday. Now, going into this, I don't expect sweeps today, man. I mean, we only got 2 matches. We've got to get the full series going on. 3 games, hopefully, for both. Again, we know what the prize pool is at stake here. It's quite massive, $1 million across for all teams. And now that you're down to the last 4, this is where there's this big jump in prize pool for the teams competing for the rest of the massive prize pool of it. But also, I will have to say this, man. The meta game, we've talked so much about it. I don't know if you've seen this too, Leo, but it hasn't changed too much from what we saw in MSC, but it's changed a bit. It's changed a bit. Melissa especially really raising in stock value. The Barretts also still being one, but I think it's interesting where the jungle has ended up too. Some of those picks that we saw pop up have kind of fallen off, and we've seen some surprise picks too, like the Leomord come through.
It's Hirara or bust is what I'm seeing. Again, the memes will tell you when you're talking about Onyx ID, you're talking about the Sky Kings, you're talking about Kyrie. It's like when he picks a jungler, as long as it's open, Coach Chewe, Coach Yeb, the Raja won't even think twice. Now that we're talking about the meta in general, right? I agree. It really didn't change much since MSC. But if there is one thing that is in flux, is where these championship teams are right now. I'm talking about these top 4. We're used to seeing them play in best of 5s, best of 7s. A shame that we'll only really be seeing them in action in best of 3s before the finals. But when you think of where SRG is right now, it's more than just the meta that's in flux. Even they are in, let's say, their Metapod or Kakuna phase for those Pokemon fans, because they changed their jungler. This is Uni right now. We're so used to it being the Sky Prince, the MVP of MSC 2024 in Sekais, but it's Uni who's playing, and they got to this point with Uni. And folks, it's not like he got lost along the way in Paris. He's still on the team. It's just this is the shape that SRG is in now going into game number 1. Atlas, Selena, get out of here. Freya, Marcel, get out of here. What does this leave open? I'd say think of that whole Nolan Hirara trade. Think of if you want to get rid of Melissa this early on.
Oof. If they don't get it, I'm expecting the trade is probably going to be for the Melissa. If not that, then the Barretts. Both these teams obviously want the Barretts. We have seen that go blue side. Priority, they will take out the Melissa though. So Onyx is going to go ahead and take that. If this is, so now the choice is Harara or Barretts. What do you ban out if you're SRG? You kind of have to decide from there.
I think there's enough reps to just give Kyrie the Hirara, then play from there. Again, you're going to get the winning Nolan trade anyways. Consider this as well. Midweek patch, right? Changed very little. I believe Kaja should not be available for play just yet in case there's the 100 people in chat asking where's the new Kaja. He's reworked, so don't even think about it. But Gord nerfed, and Novaria slightly buffed. I guess that's the reason why we saw her get played in a couple of games this past week.
Yeah. I shed a tear for Gord, because he had his moment. I guess I should be happy that it lasted as long as it did.
Yes.
But it was time for a change, and I got a chance to try the Kaja too, man. I don't. Again, we probably won't see it here, obviously, but we can look forward to it in the future because I think it was a really fun change that Kaja went through. Now, Barrett's being banned out, so they're taking their time, but I'm still expecting this just to be the Hirara trade, unless Onyx is deciding to do something else. We got Onyx fans out there too. Love the stickers. And, of course, we've had a lot of fans being able to go ahead and meet the teams. I think that's been amazing. Whoa! A Paquito first pick instead.
Okay. So instead of it being the telegraphed Hirara into Nolan, because again, the Nolan wins that about 60% of the time, they go for the flex in blue. So this is Coach Chewe, Coach Yeb going, yeah, we're on blue. We're going to get the priority and we're going to control the draft. We're going to flex on y'all into blue 4-5. How does SRG answer back? I don't know if it's worth it to put Hirara on Uni and then grab something else like a Valentina this early on to kind of block out potential fake outs. But also, considering Baratz is out already, they might invest in like a solid XP lane like an Esmeralda. Esmeralda wins against Paquito.
Yeah, maybe just get it early. Otherwise, they could risk it going over on the flip side to Onyx. They're going to go with the Hirara, though. Belric was kind of what I expected, though, to be one of the answers here. That's usually what happens over on the first phase for red side once they see that blue priority. So you get the Belric, now you have the Hirara, which makes sense because also we've seen that Belric picked up so much when it is first pick blue side Hirara because it just kind of helps, lock down who you need to with Wrath of Dryads, but also the playmaking potential. Now, the thing, though, is, Leo, like we've seen, I think the meta with some of these top heroes being picked up, there's more flexing happening, and some teams have tested out. We even saw the likes of a Rome Valentina come through. Obviously, the Valentina Novaria combo that we saw yesterday. Belric can be parked into the XP lane, not just in that Rome. And there's a whole lot of that you can actually play around with. But this seems pretty standard. We'll see exactly where SRG is going with this on their third pick. But with the Uranus over there, so now you know, all right? Paquito, is he going jungle?
Do you?
Right?
Here's the thing. By Uranus going blue 2-3, you don't know where the Paquito's going. And again, throwing back to, I don't know, as far back as like 8 months back, we've seen Uranus in the jungle. So who knows what Onyx is cooking?
Oh, that's true. And now that we've seen Valentina in the Rome, Paquito can go in the gold. I don't know, man.
Yeah, nothing is set in stone. This is a
mind games.
This is a very flexible draft that they've gotten. Blue 1-3. Red 3 though, closing up. Look at SRG. All cards on the table. This is most likely an EXP Ruby, like 90%.
Yeah, 90%. I mean, there's still a world where it's like, oh, remember the day of, Gold Lane Ruby. That can still be a thing, right?
But
Gold
it's cram, though. It's cram.
Yeah, it's cram. It has to be going over in that XP. So Belric Rome, pretty straightforward, I would say, for SRG, which leaves us to still wonder what they're going to put, exactly 100% what is going in the jungle for the hands of Kyrie. You see that out there, too. Kyrie Diff, I think a lot of people have been looking at these junglers that we've seen so well over the years now, develop into these star players and everything else. And you think, okay, well, this is kind of the assassin meta, right? So they should be able to do this, this, and this. And one thing's for sure is the compositions now are so, even more so, I feel like really based around allowing your jungler to get that momentum building early on, scale up from there, and then let them just kind of take away the game. And that's why we have such fast games. I'm not sure exactly on the average game time of games of the future, but it's definitely maybe that 15 or less minute mark. We've had a handful of games maybe only go 20 plus minutes. I mean, me and Wolf were asking desperately so we could have an evolved Lord, because I kind of forgot that it's been so long in some of the games where it's like, man, where's the evolved Lord going? We haven't seen him in a while, right? Because all these games ending 15, sub 15 has been the case. So last couple bans will tell us where they're going with it. The Dairoth being banned out by Onyx, Harley on the other side. So even SRG isn't 100% sure yet. So they're going to go and just cover the base, ban out the Harley.
Because of how flexible either side is and this abomination of a metagame that Moonton has concocted for us, both sides are flexing really hard. That's why those bans are so weird. An XP laner, a jungler, a mid laner, a roamer. I can't remember the last time a metagame was this in flux. So red 4, the pick for SRG. I'd say lock in that gold laner right now. Show us. Leave the mid so that you can kind of prio balance that with the Beleric. With red 5. So
Yeah.
I'd say expose that gold lane right now. I'm sure Innocent can handle it, whatever it is. Like if it's gonna be a Moscow, oh, that would be really good. Oh, instead it's a mid laner first.
Okay, Kimmy. So they want to hold on to Innocent's pick. Go with the Kimmy. They have a whole lot of crowd control, man. Like this is so much crowd control that SRG is looking to potentially play with. Right now, there's a lot of damage, and soak up potential that Ona can utilize here. Valentina most likely will just. You got a couple options actually. Do you want to take the Wrath of Dryad, that ultimate from Belric, or do you want to go ahead and take the ultimate of Ruby, the I'm Offended? There's some great setup potential there. Now, these next two picks will put all the pieces to the puzzle for
They
Onyx.
need crowd control. Now you mentioned it.
They need
There's that crowd control. Massive source. The Guinevere, which we still don't know where it's going. Again, there's a world where it's actually going in a Keyboy's hands.
Okay.
And it's not. It's a jungle Gwyn, Ro Matilda,
Yeah.
gold lane pack. Okay, so this kind of makes sense now. It's like a well-written Nolan film, well, the very first one, and maybe a little bit of Tenet. So it's non-linear drafting.
Okay, non-linear drafting. I like how it doesn't come to fruition until the very end though. Then we really know where it's going. But dude, this Matilda yesterday alone caused so much trouble for the opposing team just because again mobility, right? Shields. Pretty good poke, I'd say, too, after she got that buff back when that last couple patches ago when she got that buff on her wisps. She's able to actually go ahead and poke pretty well. You pair it up with this Guinevere, who gives you also great crowd control. And now the answer, okay. So Esmeralda's open. Might as well. We know there's shields that are going to be popping up over here. You get the Esmeralda, go ahead and deal with that. This is the eternal battle in the XP lane. Not too much is going to happen there, but everything will happen around these objectives. Now, Leo, real quick before we jump into the game, who are you leaning towards for game one? Again, it's a best of 3. You can only do so much in 3 games, and that's hopefully what we get. Where are you going towards for game one?
I really like how decisive Onyx are. I was so sure that Cram was going to get his hands on the Ruby, but the 10% swing against... At the end of the day, who's the beatdown? Who's dictating what you're allowing your opponent to do? That's Onyx. So I'll say Onyx had a better plan. Yes, SRG did get the pivot, but going into game number 1, I'm with the squad who says, this is what we're going to do. What you going to do about it?
Okay. Well, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to jump into the game. Again, first game of the day. Want to make sure that they have everything settled for our players here. Granted that it is 3 games. Got to go ahead and get the best situation for our players. Now, one thing's for sure. I think it's felt this way, man, where it's like the drafting, because of the nature of having these heroes that can be flexed, having these kind of surprises, especially when it's like the last, 2 picks on both sides of the last, let's say the last pick for a red side there, that red 5 pick. There's so much that can happen here. But one thing is that it feels almost coin flippy in a way, where it's like, okay, there's clear strategy happening in the draft. But sometimes with certain teams, right, even at this highest level like this with Onyx and SRG, some of these team fights are kind of weird because even if you have a lead at 5,000-6,000 gold, it's gotten to this place where, again, think what Harara has showed us that she's capable of doing. The way she moves around the map and everything else. Sometimes you think you have a team fight won and then she escapes. Well, Matilda helps you do that. So here we go. We're going to be jumping into the Land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the semi-finals here for the Games of the Future. We got a best of 3. One of these teams will move on to the grand final, and one will be knocked down to that 3rd place match. Let's go ahead and jump into this one.
Good priority coming in from SRG. The space that the Kimmy and the Bellerix engagements allow for this duo to kind of play toe-to-toe against a very deadly Matilda and Valentina combo. So that allows SRG to cross over first. Cram coming in to help equalize to get that little Wanderer, and that allows SRG to go up maybe about 100, 200 gold.
All right, a little bit of early poking happening here in mid lane. Of course, this is kind of what we expected. It's funny because the matches yesterday, I felt like were a little more, in terms of the mid lane, you didn't see, when it got to game three, you didn't see that crazy go-to strategy where it's like mid lane's whole, pre-first turtle is let's see if we can get some battle spells out. Let's see if we can actually cause some havoc here, potentially get a first blood. But when that doesn't happen, it's kind of more of a stalemate into the first turtle, then you're like, okay, eventually this big fight is going to break out. Looks like they're going to go for Cram. It's tanky enough, though. Oh, all right.
Given that was just a three-man gank, Onyx tried, and you can see how early on, even without items, Keyboy's Wisps hurt. But again, Cram, no worries there. Did not need to pop the Purify. Maybe just needed to regen, so that's a free resource. Turtle spawns in the upper quarter. A good start for the bottom lane as well. Sans here in trouble. Forced the flicker back. Stormy wants to finish the job. Finds it. SRG draws first blood. Up top, though, they force a Purify from Cram. And they will trade up for. SRG's team captain's down. Here comes SRG. Coming for the clapback. Down goes Kyrie. Uni takes him down. Onyx out of jungler. Circling Eagle. Knocking up one, but Stormy gets away. Able to purify through it. Uni finds K-Boy. Lootby gonna dash on back. SRG, massive win across two lanes.
Oh man, that was really good from SRG, and this should result in them getting this turtle, because I don't think Kyrie's going to be there in time, as he's just going to grab his buff. And Yume's setting up, so Uni able to secure the objective, and some kills too. Again, 2 kills in the hands of Uni on a Hirara. Now, usually when the Hirara is picked up, we've seen it go to a point where, it might struggle a little bit in the early game, but if you get some early kills, and you're moving the way Uni's moving, this is why people have been so impressed by Uni. Again, Sakai's amazing jungler, but Uni, when he stepped in, even back in Paris, people are like, how would this pan out? Well, now Uni, starting strong in game 1 against Onyx, to get SRG to the grand finals here. This is something that can snowball out of control if you're Onyx, and you gotta be a little cautious about this, because the way that just Harari can do some crazy things. This is why I was saying it almost felt coin flippy because of her kit. And that's why if you're going to pick a Guinevere, which we saw banned out quite a bit of times, they can still play with that potential to go in spatial migration, Requiem combo. But what they can't let happen here, Leo, is those stacks to build on the Sky Piercer of Uni. Remember when we've seen a fully stacked Sky Piercer Hirara, how dangerous it can be.
I don't think dangerous is the word to describe it. Unfair is a little more appropriate. Selangor Giants now crossing over to the lower quarter of the map. They know that they have the initiative here. They have tempo on their side. They're forcing Kelra back. And here's the issue with a Uranus, right? If you're holding the map hostage, you're winning. But if your opponent doesn't care, you're kind of just a big meat shield, a walking ward. Your vision that floats and moves around. So I think that's what Selangor Giants are taking advantage of, the fact that they've isolated Lutfi from the action. It's basically Cram calling the shots, holding down the lane, and then he'll be able to make it back after expanding rivers. Turtle spawns lower quarter. Let's see how Onyx close this gap. It's about a 700, 600 gold lead.
Yeah, it's not too much. Turtle's going to be up, but they'll make their way down here. Again, expanding rivers is the map, so quick rotation for the objectives. SRG doesn't want to go ahead and just start this up blindly, though. They do meet Lutfi here in the mid lane. They knew he was going to rotate down, but not really able to do too much. Cram picking up a Enchanted Talisman. So now they'll decide to go ahead and start this turtle. Kelro's getting a good push, though, into that turret. Turtle secured.
What a yeet coming in from Kyrie. That is the pulse thrown out by Stormy, no one home. That's an interesting start. I think the Selangor Giants were overthinking it. They were considering we can take it slow, we have them by the ropes, and then Onyx says, nah, we have you by the ropes. All this while, Kelra doesn't even care. I think he paid for that coaching session with that turret down bottom, and he said, I'm going to get my reps. I will get my sandbag, and he will get a slow push. I don't think Innocent can stop this.
Yeah, again, I think he was treating that like a punching bag, basically, as the turret falls. Kelra just goes ahead, converts a turret for Onyx, plus get that turtle. Helps them. Again, it's not a big lead or anything, but SRG was maintaining a small one, and now that's pretty much been taken care of. Sans holding on to his own Wrath of the Dryad here. This is a very slow-paced game in terms of fighting because, again, both teams' compositions are that way, right? Uni wants to get stacks, he wants to get kills, which he started, but Onyx responds by just kind of slowing things down. If they can steal objectives, kind of take them away from SRG like that turret and like that turtle, then they're happy with that because, again, they're fighting into this game of we've got utility, right? I think that's the biggest thing on their side is they've got utility to work with, and they have to be a little more, they have to play a little more finesse with these team fights just because of the crowd control overload.
Oh!
Okay, Yums?
Yums coming in, flicker around the Dryad, stack pending on Sans, but he gets away. Uni says, I will get mine. Couple of iframes already. Kyrie looking for his man, finds it. Dash and Requiem closing the gap. Uni overextended himself. Selangor at Giants already down about 1,000 gold. They miscalculated how much range they could play with. Onyx are calling the shots. Kelra books another membership up top. He has a second punching bag to deal with.
And he's going to go ahead and take that one down too. Last turtle is up. Again, Uni getting punished there. Loses a little bit of those stacks, of course, that he built up here with Sky Piercer. And now Kelra continues to push. Someone's going to have to go deal with him. If he continues to do this, he might rotate down with the expanding rivers just so they can secure this third turtle. It's being held here. It's going to go for a reset. Kelra makes his way. Sounds will clear out the wave. He doesn't have an ultimate stolen yet.
Lutfi doesn't even care, man. This is best case scenario. Onyx have forced SRG to respond, but the Giants will take the turtle, and Lutfi continues.
No.
Onyx did not get to take advantage of Lutfi's spacing. Oh, he does pop the consecration there, holding on to Purify. What is Onyx playing here? What's the long-term benefit of playing footsies like that and not getting anything in return? SRG have effectively closed the gap. They stopped the bleeding. Joseph, there's just barely 2,000 between them. That could have definitely gotten worse, but SRG put a bandage. In comes Kelra. Punches Innocent in the face. Finds Keyboy, and it's enough to stop him. That traction pulse stops the rest of them. Now Uni finds Kyrie coming in with one dash, an iframe. A little bit more left in the tank. Uni wants stacks. Finds Keyboy. Takes a bit of damage from Kelra. Punch to the face. Spell vamp will keep him top. Just like that, a domino effect. SRG now close the gap once again. Barely 500 between them.
Well, I don't know. You asked me what was the play, what was the long game here for Onyx. Well, I think they're losing control of the potential for something to happen here, Leo, because now the tier 2 turret up top most likely going to go down as SRG is controlling the space. They do clear out the wave, but it's under half health now. And with a Lord coming up in about 45 seconds, SRG is showing that right now they just have kind of this, they have more damage to work with. I mean, Keyboy was deleted there, it seemed like, from Uni. You know, he's able to go ahead and happen. And maybe this will tell us why. The items that we're looking at right now, you can see a bit of a difference over there for the XP, the mid, and the jungle, obviously. But one of the biggest things, again, is just the threat of stacks on a Hirara. Even without the crazy amount of damage that we're used to seeing with marksmen, for example, when they get that whole that trinity of items set up, it's just the amount of burst and ability they can work with here. And here's one of the things Onyx has to do is, you know, again, crowd control being SRG's one of their biggest favors. We saw it earlier in one of the team fights where if your Wrath of the Dryad or your I'm Offended, and even the Traction Pulse don't land the way that they want them to, then you can re-engage into the fight and make something happen with themselves. Kelra more so just has to kind of wait for that opening, you know, that's one of the main things. He's mostly just been punching turrets. Well, pretty soon he's going to have to start punching SRG here. This Lord is up. It's being slowly worked on, but they can go ahead and just delay this further. There will be a wave cleared up top by Uni as they go ahead and get ready to take this. They might just look for a fight. Conceal's used. Okay.
Lord here, taking quite a bit, down to a quarter. Uni going to punch him. Lutfi holding down, left mid brush. Taking a few hits from Stormy. Lord gets reset. No action just yet. Coming in! Big 3-man! Make it a 4-man! Requiem coming through! But the damage isn't true. Kelra couldn't get the right punches. There's the stolen Wrath of the Dryad. Yums wants more. Cram putting out a bit of damage, dancing around him. Shields for you, shields for me. Down goes Stormy. Stance finds him. Now Innocent falls. SRG are down 2 men. Yums running away. He's burning. He lives. And now the iframe tames Uni as well. But another circling eagle. have a cool down. Onyx are happy with what they got. Cram maybe one more, make it three. They missed a hat trick. Uni iframes through, but Kelra catches him in the chin. And now Cram might fall, but Cram does find Kelra first. 3 for 1. Massive win for Onyx. We're going back and forth here, Joseph, as Kyrie threatens another ult, and he finds it. The Requiem plus the Stolen. Grabs the Dryads once again. The Pulse won't stop it. Keyboy falls. Hume's still alive. Loopy trying to put Ionic Edge sacks. Kyrie gets a double. Now Stormy gonna be up next. Kyrie! Stormy gets taken down. Innocent. Not enough life steal on this Ruby. That's a wipeout. Onyx go for the Lord.
They played the long game, Leo. What a team fight. That was dragged out so much that we saw, 2-3 circling Eagles and a bunch of setup potential. And they're going to be able to secure themselves a Lord here. But man, talk about patience. Being able to maneuver around that, Calra able to go ahead and secure the kills there when he needed to. But then it was just Loopy being that front line bulwark and then playing around Keyboy's guiding wind and circling Eagle, allowing Kyrie the opportunity to find the right moments of, okay, I can jump in here with that spatial migration, violent requiem when it's up, and make it happen. I mean, these are such long and extended team fights. And think, the last time we used to see this is every single time there was a revitalize on the play. But now there isn't. It's just these compositions. They allow these long team fights to happen. And now for SRG, they're going to lose some real estate across the map. The top tier 2 goes down. Kyrie pushes that. They try to deal with this Lord as it's going to slowly make its way to the base turret. Meanwhile, mid turret should go down next. But
I'll tell you now,
knock it on the base.
It's cooldown and spell vamp. That's what's causing all of this. And they're forcing Purifies. As soon as Onyx finds that, they go for the kill. Threatening that push on the bottom lane inhibitor. Mid falls. Lootby taken down by Uni. Stacks traded here and there. Gets one up. Some key item pickups for Selangor Red Giants. Onyx are happy with what they did. No more outer turrets for Malaysia's champions.
Okay. They find Lootby. I'm so surprised that he goes down that quick. But yeah, they lose some holy defense shield. Now SRG's looking for a potential play here. Kyrie sees them.
Oh, massive Requiem finds 3. Comes in for another circling Eagle. Serves up Innocent. And now even Humes won't survive. Cram is dancing away his troubles. He will survive, thankfully. Has enough tankiness. Flicker and combo coming in from the gold standard. Down goes Uni. Cram the only one left. It's a wipeout. KK gets 2 KOs. And now they go straight for the inhibitor. And I think this is where we say, that's it.
Onyx played the long game in this best of 3 against SRG. The sustainability, the shields, and the mobility coming in clutch in game 1 to give them the upper hand against SRG. We'll have to see some things change here, of course, for Selangor Red Giants. But man, these were extended team fights. And I gotta say, Keyboy was able to make this all possible on that Matilda. That Matilda hero has picked up more and more and more over the past couple days here at Games of the Future 2026. Let's go to a break before we head on over to game 2.
And what a game right there. Onyx versus SRG right there. I mean, the first map down, and then Onyx is continuing its streak of winnings. I mean, they are not just stopping it, they are unstoppable practically. Right, we are back here on the desk after the map one. Here we have Steel Boko with me. My name is Heidi, and this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. The first game, Onyx wins again. There is no failure for Onyx yet. What do you think?
I think it's just purely amazing. I got no words to express my feelings. I mean, SRG played extremely well in the first 4 minutes, and they got the first turtle, and then they were applying the pressure. However, magically from minute 6, I would say 6 and more forward, it just was incredible. Like one stop, one team fight, because they got twice they got -4 for Onyx, and they were killing everybody. And there was nothing. There's nothing SRG could do. But before that, nonetheless, we'd like to appreciate our title sponsor here at the Mobile. It's Freedom. Freedom. Thank you very much for being a general, making a general sponsor and being supportive for this awesome discipline. And without you, this whole event wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much for your support. And let's get back into the game itself. I mean, yeah, just like what I said. 2 team fights after the team fight, there's nothing SRG could do.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of saw how it went yesterday with the Onyx, how they performed, especially when initially the SRG actually went ahead and was taken. We can see the highlights up on the screen, but we saw the Onyx perform pretty much the same when they were facing yesterday with the DFYG on the second game. I mean, it was very close. DFYG was going ahead, but then there was a huge turnaround, starting with Kyrie getting the load steal. But here are the today's highlights right there. We can see how Onyx actually turned the game around, and then after that there was no stopping. It was like on and on. It was going on and on. But I think early on we got really good fights starting early on, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the teams were always on point, always there. I mean, now we see Silangor just making more 2 kills, and this is the fight on the mid fight there, right? So there's going to be a huge turnaround for Team Onyx, because from this moment the game is right now even, but they'll get 4 kills and then another 4 kills, and from those another 4 kills. It's just really impossible to do anything for the team of Selangor Red Giants.
I mean, yeah, as it went after the 10th minute, I think it went kind of non-stop for Onyx. I mean, as soon as the Onyx catched up to the tie, and then from there, Onyx really rushed down to the end of the game really quickly. And we had some really good fights as well. Around, let's say, around 30 minutes, as we'll see on the map, on the highlights. By the time, let's say, 12 to 30 minutes, the SRG didn't have any Alpha Taurus to play with. So that was a very, I would say, disadvantage at the SRG side around that point. And then after that, it was kind of easy for Onyx to go ahead, because just before they entered the base for SRG, they already had the team out. The SRG, right? I mean, that was easy for Onyx right there to finish it off. I mean, exactly as how the caster said, that was the moment we all said, like, this is it. And there was nothing after that. They were ready for ending the game right there. We are seeing 13th minute right there. This is where we lost the Autosaurus for completely for SRG. And then Onyx was on a non-stop roll. I mean, when we look at even the draft phase, the Sands going with Valentina and Keyboy with the Matilda, I mean, that was interesting to see how that went. And Kyrie went with the Guinevere. But, I mean, they made it. On it, I would say. I mean, that's the moment that we had a wipeout at 13:56 right there. And then it was an easy win at that point towards the end.
Yeah, what I wanted to say, the Uranus was so crazy.
Yes.
I mean, the way how much damage he Loot P, it's just insane. I'm just so curious to see how much damage he got on foot, and when Calorie was playing at decent. Everybody from the team of the Oni were playing decent, but for me, Loot P was the most MVP, because he was the most annoying hero on in the map, because we saw how he was clearly unkillable after minute 4 or 5. It's just he just stood there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Of course, I mean, Uni also put up a really good performance right there for SRG with 4-3-4. I mean, that's 4 kills and 4 assists. Even though there are 3 deaths, I mean, he went with Hirara right there. I mean, a hyper-mobile assassin. So, and also I mean, we keep seeing that thing, the conversation where we saw Uni coming in instead of Seekais, and that was a really good move. Actually, I mean, he actually did perform really good as a jungler right there for SRG. But let's not forget, making all your life easier. We all love it because we all like everything on one single app, and that's where the Yandex Go comes in. Make sure you scan the QR code up on the screen. Download Yandex Go because it's going to be so easy for you on your daily life to get everything in one app. So make sure you do that. Do not miss that one. We are only one map down for the first match, which is Onyx versus SRG. And again, Onyx is still on a roll.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're gonna even see them fail today because the next map is gonna decide that, right? I mean, we have the stats up on the screen for both the maps. What do you think, Steel?
I wish I could see the loot P, for example.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how much damage he got. I mean, damage taken. Kyrie just played amazing. He has a wonderful KDA of 9. They have similar, what is it called? Similar gold with Uni and Kyrie.
Yeah.
It's just both of those players actually. They were here at the panel, guys, yesterday. And it would be interesting to see how they're gonna play with number 2. I mean, Haiti, honestly, man, I have no idea if Onyx is going to be beatable because for me, Southern Red Giants is the only one team, I think, in the entire tournament who can actually beat them. I mean, we can say about Aurora, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, remind you guys, SRG actually, those guys who have won Aurora in the 2-0 in their group stage. So if SRG fails right now, I think the Onyx is gonna get another trophy in their sleeve. Yeah.
I mean, two tournaments, 2 games of the futures in a row. We don't know yet, but we are just seeing how Onyx is moving ahead this fast and unbeatable state. We are yet to see the MVP for today, but I mean, it was good performance. There we have the MVP, Kelra. There we go. We got Kelra. I mean, this is the second. I mean, yesterday we had Kelra as the MVP for their second map. We have the MVP right there, 64% kill participation and 758 GPM. Got 4 kills, 1 death and 5.
Awalnya setiap langkah terasa terlalu banyak gangguan. Namun kendali didapat dari latihan. Setiap usaha berarti. Lalu semuanya mulai jelas. Latihan membuat sempurna. Mulai berinvestasi dengan Stokity.
Makes those important kills, important moves, and shout out to Killer for being an amazing player. Moving forward, now Selangor Red Giants, do they have a chance actually to at least take one game off of Team Onyx?
I was really wondering because yesterday Selangor Red Giants went with that combo of Melissa and Harley.
Yeah.
And they took both the games, like you said. I mean, it had really good win rates as well as Team Boycott said yesterday.
Yeah, I mean now I think the other teams are listening because they got the ban series, so we didn't see any. We don't get to see any Melissa, we don't get to see any Harley because both of the heroes were banned. And moreover, now we see actually Melissa. I mean, Valentina and Barretts are actually getting more and more in the game, and Valeric also getting more picked, I would say, in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the SRG, I mean, we have to admit that we still have one more chance, right, for SRG to somehow grab the hold of this tournament.
There is a one chance, and then there is going to be a last chance because if they want to be at the finals for tomorrow, they have to step up and change a little bit.
That's true.
But what to change, I honestly don't know. Maybe the drafts. Maybe they need to pick Melissa first and ban the other heroes, and hope they get other heroes that they would like to get.
Yeah, I mean, as for the combo that we saw Harley and Melissa, last time Innocent picked Melissa, but this time he went with Ruby, who's a durable front line with heavy CC, but I don't know, do you think they're going to get back to the old combo again, yesterday's combo?
We'll definitely see. It's hard to say, to predict anything. It's all the matter on the drafting stage, and we'll see how they prepare, because we don't get to hear any insider information per se, so no expectancies, but I hope the game will be game 3, because otherwise the game will be quick. Yeah, but also, I mean, shout out to Selangor Red Giants, because they played first 4 minutes, phenomenal.
Yes.
They got the kills, they got the turtle, they were taking the mid and the map control overall.
Yeah.
However, I mean, Onyx is just great players. So they, nonetheless, they got a good net worth lead. We hear that players are getting ready, and so our casters are getting ready. Leo and Naiso, please take it away, guys. Let's get to watch the second game.
Okay, thank you guys again for breaking things down there for game number one. Again, big shout outs to Ilyas and Heidi for being a part of this. You know, it's been a pleasure. And now going into game two, we have to make some adjustments. I would say, especially if you're SRG off of that, kind of the way the game unfolded. It was such an extended game, Leo, like this back and forth. And I don't know, maybe we got to start banning the Matilda out.
I'd like to think it's less extended because, let's be honest, Joseph, you and I have been doing this for the better part of a decade. We've seen longer fights. We've seen longer
It's a new
games.
era.
I think we're just normalizing. Yeah, no, it's such a new space in MLB esports that everything that throws back to anything older is weird. So here I am, just with an open mind. I don't want to panic ban anything. If you ask me, there's a world where they just go back to their original bans. Because there's a world where SRG actually won game one.
That's true. I would say, I'm trying to think, if they let the Matilda go, I think they just have to change the order of the draft or do what we saw yesterday, man, where it was basically what would I call it? The Filipino Ube versus the Turkish Delight, right?
Yeah,
because that's what it was. It was a Matilda on one lineup and then a Raphael on the other, right?
Okay.
And so maybe that might be one of the things where it's like, okay, if we see a Matilda, let's just grab a Raph or something else, that can help kind of match up to that.
To be fair, these two teams have gone too deep into the Southeast Asian macro that they can't, I think, based on how they're working, right? On the flip of a dime, switch over to something closer to the Turkish Delight. I think they've, even with Uni, right? Even with the switch up on Uni, even with, Kelra being there, if anything, that makes it worse because Kelra actually spent a good amount of his career in the Filipino macro-centric metagame. So I'd say focus more on the task at hand. And look at that. There's only one band that changed, man. It's just the Paquito. And then everything else stuck. Do we go... Would you go red, blue one Barats or blue one Bellarek?
I think I think this is going to be blue one Barretts. They don't want to give that over to Lupe.
Or Hirara?
Yeah. Oh, that's the tough choice. That's a tough one because even so, Harari was okay for Uni the last game, right? He was getting some stacks with Sky Piercer and everything else. He was moving across the map. But I think having a Barretts would actually help them. They just have to be willing to trade that. So, I think you give it over to Cram. You have to take this Barretts. Okay. There you go.
But Onyx are gonna make it so worth it. They can go Hirara and Bellarek. Exactly. I mean, that's what SRG got in game one and still lost. But Onyx knows the tempo. At least Onyx now knows this is the kind of game we're playing. It's a slower, more Southeast Asian flavor.
Okay, let's see
Look at this map
if they decide to do that. Yeah. Is that a World Collector?
There's another rank now, Joseph. There's a new rank.
There? What's the new rank?
It's not what I am. I want to get there.
It's after World Collector?
Yeah.
What Universe Collector? Is that what we're
Let me double check.
What's better than World Collector, man? What is the above of World? I would think Universe.
Or Galaxy.
Or Galaxy. Speaking of Galaxy, Uranus is going to be picked up.
It's in the advanced server, so we don't have it yet.
Oh, okay. We don't have it yet.
Man to the World Collector. There it is. Galactic Warden in Uranus. And the Hirara. Okay, so they wanted an answer to the Barats first. So, Uranus.
Okay, let me go with the Uranus here. So that's fine. The Harara going to the hands of Kyrie. I'd be a little worried if I was SRG because Kyrie, I think he's really excels at the Hirata. Some junglers do it better than others, but nonetheless she's still kind of broken, right? I think just the mobility that she has, but that's why the catch is so important. I think that's why Barrett's first pick blue side is actually very valuable here. Loopy, but it allows you to go ahead and get that potential setup. You alleviate some of the pressure on your roam, and you go with that. Now they're also going to go ahead and lock in the jungle and the gold lane already by taking up the Harley, which we saw banned previously, and then they get the Brody.
Okay, good amount of burst coming in. You want to be able to take advantage of whoever gets caught in Detna's welcome. Good global presence here. Fans from all over the world in the stadium, supporting their favorite fans, their favorite teams as hardcore fans for Games of the Future. I love it. How does Onyx close up? Do they find an answer to the Brody immediately? What else do we have left? Do we want to see... does Keller go fighter again? Is a good question.
Could he go fighter against the Brody? Is that something you'd really want to do? Or maybe he just matches range for range and gets the Clint, unless it's going to be banned out. I think it's funny. Okay, there is a Matilda ban, so that respect is going to come through. But it's interesting, man. Like, I feel like even now, we're seeing the meta's not changing a bunch, but it's like slightly shifting, right? There are some shifts here happening. I think one of them is like even the Claude. The Claude has kind of been a more of a struggle, right? Because even back in Paris, we saw so much Claude, Moskov, the likes of that, and then eventually some of these other picks started to pick up, like the Melissa, like the Brody, couple fighters sprinkled into there too. But I think in this case, maybe you just go the Clint, unless it's going to be one of these bans from SRG.
The Claude just doesn't fit the whole game plan or the pacing that the Paris metagame once allowed. But now maybe? I don't know. Especially since you have the Brody who kind of waits for that mid-game power spike as well. Loyi gets banned out. Mid is kind of tight. I gotta say now, mid is kind of tight. If some way, somehow, Selangor or the Giants end up with the Eudora in mid, then that's an early game snowball that they're looking at. We might go to game 3.
Okay, I would like the game 3, man, if they can. Loyi is interesting. Go with the Loyi ban, which I don't think we've seen picked up yet. If it has, it's only probably popped up maybe once or twice, even in the group stage. I'm taking a quick look. But the Loyi, being a surprising ban, you're still going to have that last ban here for Onyx. See what they decide to go with. They're still honing in on the roam, so
There it is.
They're going to go for the Eudora.
Yep, right into it. If they let SRG get it, and it doesn't really fit their draft, then even with chunky boys like Peleric and Uranus, they will lose out on that early game pressure. So one more ban for SRG. I think mid is safe. I think both teams are kind of like, okay, whatever's left in mid, we'll play it out.
Okay, the Loyi was picked up twice.
Yeah. Do they force a gold laner now? Do they force a selection of a gold lane? Could that be? I don't know if it's a good idea against Kelra. Kelra's amazing.
Yeah, against
hero pool.
Kelra. You have just such a hero pool that you can dip into here, man. Like I said, if they want to, maybe they could have gone to Clint, banned it out, but they'll go to Rafaela instead. So, two of the heroes that we thought would be picked up, either that Matilda or the Rafaela, or at least the answers to each other, they actually get answered in the draft. There's the Clint. I called it. That Brody was picked up early on, so you might as well play range for range. Clint really helps with that. Again, these are like one of the two heroes, too, that usually gets picked up against Melissa, if that's the case, and they still go with a traditional marksman. But this is also just really helpful because when you have a Brody paired up with a Harley, your whole job is, let me get these marks off. You got that little stun that can come into, but then you have enough safe distance to try to stay away from getting, Wrath of the Dryad or having loot be in your face here if you're innocent. But even so, trying to stay away from Kyrie, man, is something that have to happen. A lot of people out there believe in Onyx going to 2-0 this. Well, SRG, I would say, has a game plan to make sure that doesn't happen.
Astana loves Onyx. Wow, Astana is Sonic City. Selangor Giants close off the draft with a Valentina and a Glue. So that mid lane ult stealer goes over to the other side. What does Onyx play in mid? What goes into the hands of Sans here?
Is he just going to go
Mid-range.
Farsa?
Yeah, mid-range is where SRG plays, so maybe, yeah, Farsa with Flicker. Okay, good read. Again, there's very little that can dive through the bodies that Onyx are dropping, especially with the additional one in the Eternal Guard. Great read. I'm usually skittish when it comes to Vexana's coming through, but for this one, I'm bullish. I'm all in, man. No
You're
hodl.
bullish?
Don't
You got no
hodl, bro.
hodl here?
Full
No
send
hodl?
it. Full send it.
She's going to full send the Eternal Guard, man. It's one of the things, though. I remember when it first popped up, the Vexana, a couple times back, even in the wild card of MSC, we were wondering, what is the purpose of this? What is the logic here behind it, especially with the meta, the way it was forming? It makes sense. Again, being able to utilize the Eternal Guard's little kind of knock up when he summoned down, and then, of course, her kit. And there's some decent poke, too. So the Vexana has really done a lot better over the course of time. But I'm going to lean. I know it's Onyx City out there in Astana, man, but I'm going to lean for SRG. I need a game 3 here, Leo.
Okay, well, you could hope, but whenever a Vexana is picked in that spot, it's usually the kill shot. It's usually, we know, save for maybe the first couple of weeks in Paris, but later on, especially now, I don't think Coach Yeb or Coach Chewe would let this slide without it passing their vibe check and getting their permission. Going into game number 2, match point for Onyx, SRG have so much to catch up to. I don't know how they're going to find Sans. Or even yet better, Kelra, because Kelra invested in the Flicker. I'm afraid for SRG. None of them picked the Purify.
Oof. Well, Onyx doesn't have to worry about popping any purifies, man. It's all up to the athletic Flicker, basically, for SRG. We're going to take a little breather here while they get things situated. Again, very important for this one, best of 3 series. You're facing a match point right now if you're SRG. They want to go ahead and make sure that they have the best playing field. Again, a winner of this series goes to the grand final here tomorrow, which will be our one and only best of 5. Can't wait for that best of 5 to break through because, again, the nature of things change. When you go from, we've gone through it all, man. Best of 1s, we've had best of 2s before in other tournaments. Then you have the best of 3s, which we've been through all for games of the future. And then you get those best of 7s. Unfortunately, no best of 7, no best of 7 here. It's just going to be a best of 5 tomorrow.
Actually, as I push my glasses up close to my face, we haven't experienced everything, Joseph.
What have we not experienced? Best of 9?
Best of 9. We haven't experienced best of 9, which was done in a couple of seasons in the WSL, the Women's Star League in Indonesia. In an attempt to take down now Team Vitality, they tried to do best of 9s in the finals. Back into this one, though, conjecture out the window. Keyboy put down to a 5th of his health. Him and Humes can just do this forever, especially if Keyboy can punch someone after he gets his second skill going.
Okay, well, at least no one goes down. This is what we kind of expected, though. These first beginning exchanges in the mid lane. That doesn't happen here, so Turtle's still a bit away, 30 seconds from now. But if we think about when these level 4s come online, and Stormy is able to go ahead and take one of the ultimates, there's a couple, I would say, there's room for him to most likely be the Wrath of the Giant, but even take his own Eternal Guard. I think that can actually really help the crowd control for SRG if they want to go ahead and try to find, if it's Kelra. Again, once a Flicker is burned for Kelra, then maybe that's how you catch him. And so it might be up to you to be like, okay, I got to go burn that Flicker from Kelra.
For sure. Speed is the name of the game for Selangor Giants. It's a very small window that they can actually do that. Massive Detna's welcome coming in. Throw him into the wall. Keyboy does survive it even after eating a deadly magics. But Humes ensures that the job is finished. Selangor Giants draw first blood and go straight to the turtle. They're pushing Lutfi back. Again, I told you, Joseph, speed is the name of the game.
And that speed is in the form of a dinosaur right now. It's in the form of that Barrett's. And this is what we talked about. I mean, he didn't even have to burn the Flicker there, but think about the distance again that a Barrett's can cover when he Daytona's a welcome Flicker combo. I don't know too many heroes that can get away from that unless they burn a battle spell, or at least they really try to dodge that. So that's something why I was saying, these Barrett first side blue pick Barretts are so strong. They're so deadly. We saw Lutfi do this multiple times, so why not take a page out of the book of Onyx?
Oh,
Here it is again.
Another one! No way! Dennis, welcome out to the flicker. Stuns two and takes him down as well. Selangor Red Giants are on a roll. And off of the back of a singular pick, you were just singing the praises of this duo, Joseph. Barats.
He just said, let me show you one and do it better than the last time, man. This time throwing it into an opponent to get the stun off. Onyx kind of shell-shocked right now, man. I feel like they don't have much of an answer.
Flicker forward, plus an Eternal Guard. Take that, Stormy. Did not get to respond. Athletic Flicker, not found. So I think Onyx is showing them that it takes two to tango. If you want to play hardball, I'm game. Comes in with a offensive forward Flicker. But I think that's one thing that shows Onyx learned their lesson. Maybe now they want to keep Sans at a safe distance. That second combo, that second double kill for Cram, well, for SRG, shouldn't have happened if Sans wasn't in the vicinity. So maybe protect yourself a little more, and then Onyx can find their footing.
Yeah, I'd like to take. I wish we could take a look at the items here too, just to see where the gold laners are at currently, because they've been in their own world as expected. Trying to get the best here before they start to pop off. You can see the Blade of Hephaestus already is secured by Innocent. I'm not sure what Kelra decided to go here on the Clint right away, but we will see as the second turtle is up. There we go. So he's got Endless Battle. So he finished that. Now they're going to fight for this turtle.
Yums on the conceal, looking to take the mount on the Suns. Turtle at less than half health right now. Sun still holding on to his ult. Kyrie looking for way in. Flicker!
Oh.
Perhaps the Dryads coming through, but Uni still secures. Now a massive Detna's welcome, but plus the mount coming through. And Onyx looking for that re-engage. Keyboy eats a face full of deadly magic, still survives. SRG could not end him. And just like that, Onyx are able to at least keep it at deadlock, despite being down almost 2K.
Yeah, that looked really dicey. Oh, up top. Okay, I thought they got really close to getting Cram there. And it was... that was like a slow motion action movie right there. The Daytona's welcome was charged up. He went right for Kyrie, and Kyrie just iframed it on the Hirata to stay alive. But I think this is the difficult part, right? Loopy and also Keyboy, they need to get tanky enough to kind of survive those interactions. Keyboy barely surviving. Again, on this Belric, your biggest strength is setting up with that Wrath of the Dryad, having that little taunt interaction too. But, once that expended, you're kind of just hanging around. So it's like, you need to be tanky enough.
Yeah, now you mentioned it, I think that's one of the keys to SRG actually winning the first 5 minutes is they're basically locking Lutfi out of his main job, which is to block the Barats. Now here comes Onyx, they pop Yums, and Lutfi did it! Lutfi successfully did it, Joseph. He blocked 3. He was playing man-to-man defense on 3 men.
Yeah, this feels bad whenever every single time you see that Uranus in front of you and you're just like, how? How do we get past this galactic type of whatever he is, creature? Because he's just so tanky. He's so tanky, and at the same time, if you kind of spend too much time around him, you're going to take damage. Cram, get the taunt. Keyboy's up there. They just want to go ahead and keep this turret up. They'll do just that. But now Onyx, what they've been able to do is kind of stop the bleeding a little bit. Kyrie's going to get spotted out there, respecting what can happen. You look at the full pullback here from Kelra, though. He knows SRG's trying to make a move.
Kelra! Did he flicker or did we just ricochet that? He dodged it. Oh my lord, it's Kelra and Kyrie outdoing each other with mechanics.
Brother just bowling, man. I thought he burned the flicker too, and now third turtle's up.
So this is 2 turtles going over to SRG. One last could be up for grabs for Onyx. Lutfi again, man-to-man defense from 3 men. Turtle at about half. Yum gets caught out. Eternal Guard and everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him. Kyrie looking to find Rage, and he does it! Secures the final turtle, and now Stormy gets popped. Kyrie gets a stack. Onyx not done, pushing Innocent back. This Brody don't want none of this. He picks up the Sky Piercer. Could finish the job, has a couple of stacks on Keyboy, does not press the torn-apart memory. But Kyrie finds Uni after committing Grand Theft Orange. Kyrie is such a bad boy.
Such a dangerous man. I can already see the crowd waving their 2-0 signs right now for Onik. Again, there's so many fans out there for Kyrie, and they're seeing him put on a show on the Sirada. Oh, up top though, Kelra.
Calra gets mounted and hit with a torn apart memory, but on camera, we barely catch a couple of kills on SRG, the punish. Usually when a gold laner dies, it's no bueno, but this time, as they say in Kazakhstan, Ahmed, I'll take that deal any day, twice on Saturdays. Purple, secured at least by Yums. It went from worse to bad.
It did. I don't think you want that purple buff on Yums, man, but you know what? Maybe it can help them go ahead and set something up through this, because SRG, they're not too far behind. It's not the back foot that they're on. Backs aren't against the wall or anything like that, but Leo, it's reminding me of what we saw maybe a week or so ago with Kelra. The reaction times, I know he just died up there, but the reaction times are something that you always have to take note of. Whether he's flickering, whether he's just using the kit of the hero, it makes it so difficult to crash down on Kelra. And that's why SRG has to kind of commit a lot of resources to make sure that Kelra isn't there. He is starting to scale up here. He's got the Berserker's Fury and the Endless Battle now for that Clint.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same issue with Sans. You have to consider, how do we find this main source of damage while still keeping our own essential kit for the re-engage? That's the problem SRG are dealing with right now. That's what put them about 2,000 gold behind. Onik are first to the Lord pit. Lord at a third of his health. Cram looking for a good target. Lupi on his tail. They're not allowing him to find it. Oh, but they do get Kelra. Throws him into the wall. Stolen. Eternal Guard turns it around. Down goes the gold standard. Kyrie finds Cram. And Kyrie gets another stack. 404. That's not found. Kyrie looking to dodge around. Lupi put down to 1/8 of his health. The mount on a Keyboy. Keyboy gets taken down by Innocent. And now they find sweet revenge on Ayums. Kyrie gets another stack. Make it 5. Onik do stop Selangor Giants from turning it into a conversion. Lord still standing.
Yep, so they stall at the Lord here. A really good fight, though, honestly, for SRG until they had to deal with Kyrie. This is one of the things you usually see. When we've seen a fully stacked Hirata, it's because of the patience, right? The patience to be able to get stacks. Okay, Lupi. Oh, cutting it close.
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. Kelra flickers back. He won't get me twice, not in a minute. And Kyrie looking to take down Cram with the kind of burst that Kelra has, and those stacks should be possible, but yeah, they turn over to the Lord.
They go for the Lord. Let's see if they delay it.
Massive combo from Onik. They take down 2. Yums and Cram take a nap as Kyrie is 1 away from the max Skypiercer stacks. Oh, he's really bad now.
Oh, man, Leo. He's looking to be as bad as he can be. Almost fully stacked. This is going to be a Lord take here, but this is the problem, man. Look at this again. Items fall in place. Lord secured. Lupi will keep things together. And it's crazy because Lupi's just got an Oracle Radiant Armor and Chastised Pauldron, but that's keeping him tanky enough to not die and just stay in the front side. I mean, we've seen him get relatively close to dying, but this is, the Uranus is just kind of a hassle to deal with. And Cram, he's gotten some good Daytona's welcomes. They've gotten some decent fights for SRG, but the problem is not only getting through Lupi, but trying to catch Kyrie. It's almost like they have to pay too much attention. Do we go for Kelra? Do we commit to Kelra, or do we commit to Kyrie? It's like choosing what you want to eat tonight, and that's a big problem for SRG to get through.
Sounds like a first world problem, but it's not just that. They're also thinking about Sans. And all this while, there's this big, massive tree walking up, and whatever the hell Uranus is. Not to mention, he's the only Purify holder, which also, get this, gets rid of Brody's stacks. So even Innocent can't deal with Lupi, even if he stood underneath his ult.
Yeah, really good clear here on the Lord, though, at least. We'll see if Onik gets some tier 2 turrets. That might be all they get. SRG's playing really carefully just to not get caught. Their side of the jungle. They've got the waves pushing in, but they're really well handled. So maybe, again, silver lining in this, SRG doesn't have to lose too much off that Lord take that Onik got. It's more down to, again, a fight. They're going to just hold this orange buff hostage. It looks like Keyboy. But he's always welcome.
That is welcome. Cram throws him
Humes.
right into the wall. Lutfi, though, happy to take it. Didn't even use the Purify. And Kyrie and the rest of Onyx punish him. Keyboy with a... Rather the Dryads holds him down, but pays the price. Falls alongside Suns. So, despite Onyx having really good footwork, they have to respect the damage SRG has. 3v4 Humes holding Kyrie and Kelra down, forcing him back. Yeah, Onyx have to find neutral again. They can't do it without Sans or Keyboy.
Yeah, they're going to have to back off here. That was really good positioning from Humes, though. You know, he waited patiently in that brush, saw an opening for Sans, went right to him. And so they were able to go ahead and split up. And that might be the kind of the game plan here for SRG as the fights break out where, you know, someone's going to play this waiting game. Go from the back line, put pressure. Again, we mentioned this in the beginning of the game where it's like, all right, we have to pop the flicker from Kelra. Or at least put enough pressure on Sans where the Eternal Guard might be dropped down early, so it can't be that setup that's been working for Onyx so well. So amidst it all, SRG keeps things kind of under control.
Interesting why Lutfi decided to pop the consecration there. I think he felt there was a fight about to break out. And I'm not sure if that Detna's Welcome attempt was exposed to Onyx, but alas, both teams are just playing the map, clearing what needs to be cleared so they're ready to dance.
With Lord being up, both teams getting in position. It looks like there was some pressure there towards Uni's buff just to see maybe if he could get the retribution out, but it doesn't happen. Oh, crap.
Crab gets spotted out by Kyrie.
Oh, he doesn't have stacks.
No, he doesn't. He goes for Detna's Welcome. No one home. He's a tiny little baby dinosaur.
No.
And he gets popped here. Kyrie. Max Stacks making the most of it. Lutfi survives. Double Oath. Deadly Magic Sand torn apart memory. SRG are down a man. They can't even contest. I'm not so sure this is a good idea, Joseph.
Oh, big stack.
Oh, they take down Patrick Star. This is no good, SpongeBob. And the Lord goes straight to Onyx side, putting him in a black and yellow jersey.
I don't know who I feel more bad for. Patrick Star, the glue, or just a small Barats without stacks, man. Feels like, you know, you almost feel bad for him trying to run away from Kyrie.
He was
And 10-0-4 right now for the Hirara in the hands of Kyrie. Again, he wanted to put on a show for all the fans out there of Onyx. Well, Kyrie is doing just that. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and cap off this game with this Lord push, but SRG, oh, they got to be careful here.
Oh no, he's tiny again. Oh,
Get
Onyx
stacks cram.
Yeah, Onyx know that Cram needs to build up, so they're taking all of the chances to deny him the stacks. Here we go. He's catching up. He's a medium-sized Barats right now. It's a matter of holding it down. I think he's at max stacks as we speak. But again, time it out. He's starting to shrink. Look.
Yeah, he's got to get and Keyboy has been doing a good job at kind of keeping him away too from these minions, so he can maintain stacks. But as long as he hits the heroes too, it should be fine. But the Lord is now down bottom. Keyboy with the conceal.
Oh, massive Eternal Guard. Down goes Humes. Cram here, approaching max stacks, still holding on to Detna's Welcome. Turret down bottom has already been cracked, so there's pressure on their base. Lord still standing. Wails away at the mid lane inhibitor a couple times. Sans forcing Uni back. Point blank card trick. Onyx are taking it slow here. Stolen EG. Help him push back, but Kelra takes it down quick.
I think they just want to get this turret, so another wave needs to be pushing in here. So right now, SRG does a pretty good job, I'd say. Now that they've dealt with 2 Lords being secured by Onyx, they only lose 1 base turret, so that's not bad. It's just the main thing of, again, not getting caught in this position where it converts to a couple kills to Onyx. They still don't have an answer for this fully stacked Kyrie Hirata. Oh, look at this positioning. Is Uni going to try to make a play?
Okay, so Detna's Welcome finds one. It's Keyboy, but Kyrie takes out Innocent first. And Kelra gets taken down. Cram finds his man, but Kyrie wants to finish the job. Finds Humes, gets a double, and now Sans survives. Just like that, they're down to 2. Uni needs to go home to defend. Stormy, this is a lost cause. Kyrie finds him. Gets to, I can't believe it, 14 kills.
Oh, man.
14 kills on Kyrie right now, and I'm not sure Uni can defend.
Oh, another one. Leo, that looks like it's going to be it. Onyx will make it happen here. The fans in the crowd can cheer because it's going to be a sweep against SRG to get to the grand final once again for another shot at the championship of Games of the Future 2026.
One step closer to a rematch. Just like that. Onyx. What understanding of the metagame and their own playstyle too.
Yeah.
This is impressive.
Very impressive, man. Again, probably one of the best games, if not the best, that we've seen from Hirata. They're going to go ahead and just walk into the grand finals with a sweep. Not expecting that, but they're feeling pretty good about it too. And that was a really tough one for Selangor Red Giants. Again, GG's well played to them as they will go down to the third place match tomorrow to see who they'll face up again. Again, smiles on the face for Onyx. You know, it was a good fight. I felt like it was a really good fight until you couldn't solve the problem of the Hirara fully stacked, and that's kind of what we've seen in this meta. But again, hopefully we get to hear some insights over on the panel later on. But for now, we are going to be taking it over to a quick break before we head on to our next match.
Begitu lang guys, padalitin.